Welcome to the Voice of College Football, Michigan edition, Smash the Numbers. We are going to be talking about the EA Sports College Football 2025 game today. Really focused on the trailer because that's all we have so far. And we're going to break down several things as it applies to Michigan fans, including whether you should get this game. Will there be a 99 rated player in Michigan for Michigan? And also why, in general, this game is important, even if you're not a gamer. All right, to start, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the trailer at regular speed, and I'm going to not have any of the music in the background because of copyright issues, and also so I can kind of talk over it. All right, let's go. And play. All right, so this is playing at regular speed now. And, one of the things we're noticing is how much detail there is, kind of errors almost, or little flaws you saw with the Notre Dame. It seemed a little dirty there. The lighting was also excellent. Now, this is all in a trailer, so it's supposed to hype you up. I don't know exactly what gameplay is going to be like. Really cool that they're showing lesser, not the top tier schools as well. So I think I just saw Wyoming. Lots of stuff with mascots. Doesn't apply to Michigan, but it is cool. The Penn State crowd I thought was excellent there. We're going to kind of go through this in detail in a little bit slower pace. One of the things that was mentioned in some other YouTube videos was the fact that there's all kinds of uniform combinations or ways that players wear the uniforms that are different than in Madden. So that's cool. But keep in mind, this is the game of football. So this is going to be, to some extent, a reskinned Madden game. Now, celebrations are totally different. Entries are different as well. And it looks like they're really emphasizing that as well. So couple points here where Michigan kind of comes in, which I'll kind of explain in more detail, but I do kind of notice a few flaws with this as well. So we'll go when we go into kind of a slower paced version of this. I just saw Sparty there. Now, one thing I'll just stop here for a second, if I can, and just kind of explain. It looks like there are different versions that you can order, and the earliest you can get it is July 16th. There is a combo package with Madden. So yeah, I just mentioned it's a reskin game. It'll be really interesting to see how there are different segments of the EA audience. Some will buy both games. Some are focused on NFL. Some are focused on college. Will college actually take sales away from Madden? That'll be kind of an interesting thing to see. July 16th is the pre-order date for the college football. August 13th for Madden. So there's actually kind of a month in there in between. You get access 3 days early. Seems a little crazy to be able to see something 3 days early. You pay more, but I'm sure some people will do that. So we'll see what happens with respect to that. If you are not a gamer and you're kind of thinking, okay, what's the big deal here? What I would say is that this is probably going to bring in new people, maybe even sort of worldwide. A lot of people in the US play FIFA and they really understand to a certain extent European football, for example, European football, soccer, for example. I think that the reverse is going to happen here. I think a lot of people worldwide are going to be intrigued by the idea of college football and the atmospheres and things like that. Be interested in playing this game. Michigan obviously is one of the most prominent, if not the prominent featured team in this game. So we'll see if this actually attracts some Michigan fans. Another thing is that you're going to have 10 or 15-year-olds or early college students that are going to understand the plays. They're going to really kind of know how the line play works, how Michigan's might be more run-oriented than an Ohio State. And they're going to understand details that they might not have if they didn't play the game. So it's sort of an educational experience for them as well. And that's why, even if you're not a gamer, it may make sense for you to get this game because it will help you understand Michigan football. At least that's the hope, that if the data is input correctly on the in, the output will be something that will really kind of help you better understand Michigan football. Now, what is it going to cost? I'll just kind of go into before we play the trailer again in kind of a slow speed. What is it going to cost? I think the easiest way in is to get, I think currently at Best Buy, you can get the Xbox Series S for $300. They have an offer right now, which I think is $50 off. Or actually, it's $50 store credit. So the effective price becomes $250. If you're only playing EA college football, that should be enough for you. Then you pay $70, you get the game, and at an effective price of $320, you can start playing this. Now, if you're going to play other things, it might make sense for you to get more memory storage. So they have different options above that, but the minimum price we're talking about is $320 if you want everything new. There are Xbox Series S out there that you can get, where people have upgraded for a lot less than that $300 price new. But I'm just kind of talking in terms of what's the minimum price it's going to cost you if you want a brand new system and you want to get the game. Another note here is, you have to kind of choose between Xbox and PS5. PS5 is going to be minimum $400, $450, $500 to get. There's a digital version and there's a version with the discs, and that applies to Xbox as well. The bottom line here is that it's probably going to cost you more if you want to go the PlayStation or the Sony route rather than the Microsoft Xbox route. Would I recommend it? I mean, I think one of the cool things on the Xbox side, if you're unaware of it, is the idea that you can just get a subscription. It's sort of like a Netflix subscription, somewhere between $10 and $15, depending on which, how much you want to get. There's sort of a PC or online kind of gaming part of it, and then there is the console only. If you do console only, it's probably closer to $10. You can go to Costco and get, occasionally they have discounts on this where you can just get a card and kind of refill it. I've done that. I haven't really played that much other games, but I do really like the driving games like Forza, F1, even the Hot Wheels game. Those three I play a lot. I played Flight Simulator as well. It is fun, but it requires an investment. It turns into kind of a hobby, so to speak. So if you have a subscription like that, it's going to cost you $10 a month, and you get to play a whole bunch of different games. I'm just trying to justify why it might make sense to go the Xbox route. The negative of that Xbox route, the Series S, is that you're probably going to end up, the resolution isn't going to be quite as good. I wear glasses when I watch TV and play games and things like that. So to me, I'm not going to notice it as much as some other people might. But hopefully the gameplay is very similar, if not the same. It's just the resolution might be slightly worse if you get an Xbox Series S. Xbox Series X should be comparable to the PS5. All right, so let's actually go back to the beginning here. We are going to go through. I'm going at about 40% speed, so this will allow you to see the detail a little bit more. Notice the sun angle and kind of details like that. They're really trying to capture. Here's what I was talking about in terms of it being a little dirty, a little run down there. You can kind of see that in the Notre Dame, the Michigan tunnels like that as well. By the way. Showing a mix of different teams. Boston College obviously is not a top tier team, but they're kind of showing it. They're showing Florida. I'm going to pause in certain spots here. It will be really interesting to see what the tunnel environment will be for Michigan's very tight tunnel. Obviously, we know about that fight with really wasn't a fight. It was a one-way thing with Michigan State players. Attacking multiple Michigan players in the tunnel. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what kind of camera angles they have in that very tight area. All right, but you can see things scuffed up. That's one of the interesting things about some of the other games. Like Forza, or your car starts to get banged up as rocks hit it and things like that. Same thing happens with the other games where it's not perfect. The thing that you're playing is not perfect. I'm kind of thinking about the Hot Wheels is another one, where you can kind of be in the basement and you're playing in this your little Hot Wheels, and they get scratched up and things like that. EA is really into that, it appears. All right, so let's go. Flyovers. Maybe they have the stealth bomber flying over the Rose Bowl. That would be pretty cool. It's kind of a tradition. We'll see what happens with respect to that. The entry. They're putting a lot of emphasis. We're already 28 seconds into a 2-minute video, and it's just entry stuff so far. Okay, you see snow. You see the lighting here. You see things that are imperfect. Will be interesting to see situations where there's a maze out. Is there going to be different games where there'll be more maze versus less maze? Really crazy. They have motorcycles and live animals and things like that, right? So I'm not used to that, seeing those traditions in the beginning. This seemed a little weird because you see a full crowd for a SC game, and they're all SC fans. So we'll see how realistic that is. All right, this is kind of the first kind of overall shot where you can see kind of a wide shot. You see the band. It will be great to see if there are some detail with respect to the band. And the Penn State whiteout, with even the detail of the S in the end zone, that looks really cool. Just a side note about the whiteout, I think it's being devalued really because of television contracts. A big noon Fox kind of pulled the whiteout into what really should have been a whiteout game last year, Michigan versus Penn State, and made it into a noon kickoff. Will be interesting to see how that tradition evolves because of TV. All right, here you see a detail for Washington. You see little snow, or maybe it is rain. All right, Penn State again, and then we're 51 seconds into this video, and we're still just kind of coming into the stadium. So a lot of detail there, or they chose to put a lot of detail there. We'll see how realistic this is. There is a disclaimer in the beginning saying that it's not potentially not actual gameplay. All right, so now we're seeing some actual action. So what's interesting is the uniforms are different. They're not generic. You see a Donovan Edwards there. It must be a Michigan fan that programmed that one. So, or chose that little clip there. All right. So this is cool. This only lasts for a second, but in slow mode, you're able to kind of see it. That's the Children's Hospital. This is Iowa. You can see all the players waving. Just fantastic. Now, tradition-wise, are they going to be able to do jump around at Wisconsin? Are they going to be able to do Mr. Brightside? I watched some other videos, and it seems like it's possible. Some people say no. Some people say, okay, yeah, maybe partially. Something to that effect. So if they're doing Mr. Brightside, then you know that this is amazing. Okay, they were able to get the rights to it. That sort of thing. Same thing with Wisconsin. It would be kind of a great if they could do jump around. If they don't have it, it'll be disappointing. So that's kind of a there's no gray area there. They either have it or they don't. If they do, that would be really cool. All right. And actually, you see the detail on the mascots are also imperfect. So that's making a perfect game might mean being imperfect. So you saw a 1 hand or 1 foot in bounds catch. So it's not like Madden. Maybe they're trying to show you that. Let's see this is kind of this juke move that I've heard about that you can kind of stop. So that should be fun. Okay, now we're talking celebrations here. So Michigan one's coming up, and I do have some questions about it. Let's look at Milrow's pass first. Very nice pass, but he appears to. Oh, first he gets crushed. Okay, never mind. But in a second, I think he comes back. Here he is. All right. Alabama's numbers seem a little small. I don't know. Maybe that's just my perception in the lettering. All right, so here's Milrow. Great spiral. But somebody else catches it. Okay. All right. So I'm going to stop here. I'm a little confused by this. It looks like. Okay. So you've got one player, Johnson, is taking a picture of everybody else. They all have their helmets on. I think the proper, and I'm assuming this is a interception or turnover celebration. So I think they got a detail wrong with this. First of all, the helmet should be off. Somebody should be wearing the buffs, the sunglasses, and all the players should be there. I don't recall a situation where one player is taking a pretend picture of everyone else. It is everyone that's there, and then the TV cameras or someone else is actually taking the picture. So I think they got this one wrong. So anyway, we'll see if they correct that detail, but it doesn't seem right to me, this little celebration. So anyway. All right. This turtle is interesting. So let me just try to see what's going on here. There's Brutus. Okay. So there's this turtle, and it looks like Illinois has won a big game. Is it against Ohio State? So we'll see. There's Sparty. I do like Sparty, the mascot. That was good. All right, here, let's actually stop here. This looks like Donovan Edwards, but I don't know, that looks more like Alex Orji to me here. So another potential mistake. I'm trying to figure out, I'm seeing red in the background. Is this kind of a Rose Bowl-ish kind of thing? And then you've also got, 7 here, you've got 10 here. So anyway, interesting here. And then what trophy are they holding? Is that? This is outdoors, so it cannot be. I mean, if this is accurate, it cannot be the Big Ten trophy. It might be the national title trophy. So let's it'll be interesting to see what exactly this is. I see a Rose Bowl patch here, so maybe this is the Rose Bowl, and maybe it's a Rose Bowl trophy or something to that effect. So, but anyway, this looks to me like more like Alex Orji, but wearing Donovan Edwards' number. But then we also see a 10 in the back here, so it's a little confusing. I think they might have missed something here as well. All right, and then back to the pre-order stuff. All right, so let us. So here's my list. I mean, in terms of this game, from a Michigan fan perspective, and also from the perspective of analytics, right? So, will mistakes be corrected? You know, there are a lot of little things that kind of irk me there, but you know, I'm looking at this in detail in slow motion, and you know, maybe some of those will be corrected. How do you make the game more realistic? Well, you have Mr. Brightside, you have jump around, you have things like that. How much of those traditions will actually be incorporated? You know, we talked about what it'll cost to play this game. So if you want to buy everything new, I believe the effective price right now is $320. You get the Xbox Series S, get a $50 credit from Best Buy, and then apply that $50 credit to get the game for $70. Now, one other interesting note here is that will there be a 99 player on the Michigan team? For those of you who don't know what that is, a 99 player is a kind of a near perfect player. In Madden, there was Mahomes that was a quarterback, Kelsey tight end, Aaron Donald defensive end, Justin Jefferson wide receiver, Zach Martin offensive line. So those players that I just mentioned, Mahomes, Kelsey, Donald, Jefferson, Martin, were considered 99 players, so near perfect players. Now, Michigan has Edwards on the cover. Is he going to be a 99 player? I don't think so. It doesn't make sense to me that he would be, you know, based on his actual stats to date. However, what about Kenneth Grant, Mason Graham? Maybe one of those two. Will Johnson, I think it makes sense. He is the best cornerback, and so maybe he has the best chance. And then there's also Colston Loveland. So there's 5 or 6 players per year in Madden that are 99 players. College football has approximately, let's see, 5 times or 4 times the number of teams. So maybe proportionately it kind of goes up in terms of the number of 99 players. There will be one interesting note is there will be a difference in levels of play. In the NFL, most teams have kind of the best of the best. So incrementally, one team isn't that much better than another, usually. Now, in college football, there may be a lot of that. So maybe that actually will make the gameplay feel faster, and it'll also be a challenge if you're trying to be Eastern Michigan, trying to beat Michigan or something like that. So back to the 99 player, I think if I were to pick one, I would pick Will Johnson, but I have a feeling that Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant, one of those two might have a shot at as well. You know, maybe Colston Loveland doesn't, you know, because of blocking or something. I don't know, but there's the other one. So ironically, the one Michigan player that's on the cover is not going to be a 99 in my opinion. It's going to be one of these others. But I do think Michigan's going to get at least one of them. Probably just one of them. You know, let's be realistic. So bottom line here is I'm looking forward to the game. You should too, even if you're not a gamer. It is important to, you know, to college football's growth. And if you care about your team, it's another revenue stream for players. So that's another positive. And you're going to have potentially kids or, you know, younger siblings, et cetera, that are going to understand the game better. That's my take. Looking forward to it. I've talked myself into probably buying the game. I have an Xbox Series S, So I'll just go ahead and buy the game. It'll be lower fidelity. I'll tell you how it is, how my experience is. Am I getting it early? Probably not. And I'm not going to pay extra money for bells and whistles. But as long as I can play with Michigan and kind of do the whole experience, I'll try to record that, and we'll see how it works when when it comes out. In the meantime, when EA Sports releases more content on YouTube, I will try to do another video on that as well. Thank you.